Hi, I'm Heidi Herriott. Welcome to HorseTrix. HorseTrix is a step-by-step trick horse training program that will allow you to train your own horse to do some fun tricks. Well, I'm happy to have you here. Let's get started. Hi, welcome to HorseTrix. Well, today we're going to have some fun teaching our horse to nod their head no. We're also going to work on some general horsemanship. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Heidi Herriott. I'm a third-generation entertainer and horse trainer. I love performing with my horses, but my work isn't always glamorous. And when I do chores, I love my custom engraved Fireborn gloves. You're watching Heidi Herriott Presents HorseTrix. Well, today in our general horsemanship segment, we're going to talk about a horse who has been kind of in the pasture and not worked with for quite a while. Now, this is a situation a lot of folks are running into. We're all busy with our time. I certainly understand that. We can't always do the training or riding or that we want to do with our horses. So we put them in the stall or we put them out to pasture. And when they come back in and we're ready to work, they're a little squirrely and a little crazy in a lot of cases. So our horse today is a great example of that. His name is Wiley, and he's a quarter horse. And he had been worked with prior, but he's been in the pasture for over a year. So I thought he was a good candidate to show you what we do when we get a horse like that back in training. We don't want to start right off the bat with tricks. We got to start with the basics. Now, this horse has enough energy and I don't know enough about him. So the first thing I want to do is put him in the round pen and have him run around and wear him down a little bit. Now, another thing about this horse is, Wiley, he's herd bound. He came out of a pasture with over a dozen horses. We have one of his little sidekicks here, a little mule that I'm playing with some tricks as well. But a lot of people have that situation as well. And I would say to you, we're not going to make excuses for that. We need to understand that. We need to know what we're working with, but we're going to work through it. So we're going to get started right now. I have a lash whip, and I'm here in the ring with Wiley, and I'm going to ask Wiley to run around the ring. I'm going to get him started. He's got himself all worked up here. He's been running around and kicking and all excited. And we have some folks in our audience here. We're here at Circus World today doing our segment. So I'm asking him to run around. I'm going to ask him to go counterclockwise, which is the direction that most horses favor. I'm then going to ask him to line up, and I'm going to send him the other direction. Now, when you're round penning a horse, your whip is the tool that you're using, whether you have a stick and string, carrot stick, or the lash whip, which I prefer, up. So I'm going to drive the horse. I'm going to be behind his front shoulders, walking in a 5-foot circle. And we want to keep the horse going forward. Now, my whip, my tool, I can use it to reach out and push him over by pointing it at his shoulder to move him over away from me. And I could put it behind him to make it go faster. So that's what I'm going to do with it. I want to keep this horse away from me for the moment and see what I'm dealing with. I don't know if he's a kicker. I don't know if he's going to rear or bite or what he's going to do. I think he has a pretty good little personality, but again, he hasn't been worked in a while. Okay, Hup. Now he's looking to come to me. Whoa, ho, ho. Now I'm gonna let him come to me. Whoa, here. Come here. Here. Well, I'm gonna make him keep going till he comes to me. I'm not gonna let him just stop and look. I want him to actually walk up to me. Hop. Ho, here. Ho, ho. Whoa, good boy, here. Good, here. Good, nope. So I'm gonna keep sending him around because that's not what I asked him to do. All right, so we were round penning Wiley, and Wiley was really getting more hot and bothered and starting to look out. Our round pen is not that high. I don't want him to scale it and jump out. So I'm actually gonna just put a lunge line on him and settle him down a little bit. So I'm gonna lunge him. I can pull him to me a little bit easier and give him the idea. So I don't want to get him too hot and bothered. I want to make this as nice and easy as possible. He's a pretty nice little horse. He's just, I can see that his momentum is building instead of settling down like we would see a lot of times in the round pen. So I want to take a different approach. So I got a hold of him and I put a lunge line on him. So we're going to see how this goes now. Hop. So we're just going to do a little lunging. Now, again, I'm using my whip to kind of push him over so that I don't have him on top of me. He's going to want to come a little closer to me. I'm holding my lunge line like this because I'm more powerful in that way. Hop, good boy. You can already see a little different demeanor in this horse. He's more willing to come to me. I don't want him to come to me till I ask him to, but I like that he's thinking about it and he's willing. He is pulling on me an awful lot right now. So I want him to loose. I'm going to do a pull and release, pull and release. There, you see how his head comes towards me? I want him to bend around a little bit while I'm lunging him. Good. And even if you don't have a horse that's wild out of the pasture, you still, when you're lunging, you want to make sure you do a little tug and release. You don't want to just pull on them continually. That doesn't get you anywhere. We want to have it nice and loose. We want a loose, nice, light horse. He's actually coming around now. He's getting a lot lighter for me. There, every once in a while, he just gets nice and light. Now I'm going to ask him to come to me. Whoa, ho. Whoa, ho. Good, ho. Good boy. Come on in. Good, come on. Good boy, I want two eyes looking at me. I don't want his head turned. I want him to pay attention to me. Even if his buddies are outside the training ring, whatever it is, I want his attention. So what I say to you is don't make excuses for him. If the horse has something going on, we need to know that and we just need to get past it and move on. We don't want to make an excuse. Okay, here we go. We're going to go the other way. You're going to get behind them and send them forward. Now this way they're not as comfortable. Most horses don't like to go this way and they're going to keep stopping on you. So you want to make sure you're driving them. You're staying behind them, but you're not within kick reach. If this is a horse who kicks, that's why I got a 6-foot whip in my hand. I do not want to be within kick reach. Now I'm going to push him over at the shoulder to get him back out, and then I'm going to follow him. I did not change my hands. The whip is in my right hand, and that's where I'm going to keep it because that's where I'm the most effective. So I'm holding him with my left hand, my whip's in my right hand. He's getting a little softer. I'm doing a tug and release on him. He's actually lighter on this side. Good. Whoa, here, ho, good. And I want him to look at me, not everybody else. Ho, good. Good boy, that was nice. Now you see with this horse, it really settled him down to go to the lunge line instead of just turning him loose and asking him to round pen. And there's a lot going on here, but I love that. My horses, I do over 300 shows a year. I'm in different venues and places all the time. And I need my horses to go out, take a look around, and go to work. So I don't mind at all training in an area where there's a lot of commotion and a lot of stuff going on, it's a great way to work with your horse, but don't make excuses for him. There's the camera right there, yeah. Okay, good. Ho, whoa. Now he's too close to me right now. So I want him to back up a bit. It shouldn't be so close that he's gonna jump in your lap. He's licking his lips, that's a great sign. That means the horse is feeling pretty good and relaxed. I'm not a big treat person. I don't want my horses begging for treats, but I want him to be, back. I'm gonna take the butt into my whip and back him up. Good. I don't want him in my space. There, that's very nice. I like what we got going on here. Good, up. Now when the ears go up and they start looking around, I kind of give them a jerk and try to get their attention right back at me. I don't want him to be distracted by everything, except the camera. Good boy. Okay, we're gonna do one more time each direction. So we're gonna when you send him off, you're gonna walk around behind him. Hup. I'm also not gonna let him whinny a lot, because if he's whinnying a lot, he's just doing that herd bound thing. He's looking for his buddies. He's confused and distracted. I don't want that. I need his attention. He and I should be having the conversation right now, not he and the other horses. So he's a little lighter right now. Do you see how he's kind of flexing in a little bit and the rope gets a little loose? That's just perfect. I'm able to just follow him nice and easy with my whip. I don't have to do a lot of moving around with the whip. I like that a lot. And whoa, here, good. Come here, good, Good boy, that was nice. He's attentive to me, I'm liking that a lot. All right, and we're gonna go the other way. Now again, so you don't get hurt, you're gonna hold your hands up in the air to send them off. You're gonna have your whip in your right hand and get around behind him right away and send him off. If you don't, a horse can kick at you as they go by you. And you don't want that horse kicking at you as they go by you, so be very careful. Okay, I'm liking this a lot better. Boy, he's a lot softer in my hand. He stopped that bucking that some of you saw earlier. He was running around here, looking like he was gonna jump the fence any minute. So this is a lot nicer. And he's actually a pretty nice little horse. And whoa, here. Good. When I call the horse to me, my whip's been here. I bring my whip out here. I open up and I say, whoa, here. Now he can't really get past me on this side. Whoa. Good. Whoa. Good. Right there. Good boy. And licking the lips. Fantastic. Good boy. Very nice. Okay, so you got a little sneak peek into working with a horse that hasn't had any work for quite a while. And now we're going to move into some other things with this horse. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. I'm Heidi Herriott, a third-generation entertainer and horse trainer. When I have a problem with my horses, I use the best, Shriners. And here's Zach Shriner.
That's right, Heidi. Shriners is the safest, most effective, most natural product you can buy. If you want the best for your horse, get Shriners. Naturally perfect, be confident, get Shriners.
Ride safe, be prepared, get Shriners. You're watching Heidi Herriott Presents HorseTrix. So you got to see him do some lunging and he settled down a little bit. And I brought in Amy Burtz, his owner, and I've known Amy for a long time. So she was gracious enough to let us use the horse, and she loved the idea that we actually got a chance to work him because she wants to start working him again. So he was a perfect candidate. But what I wanted to say about that is, and Amy knows this, she's had a lot of horses. What's funny is if you actually go buy a horse and they're looking at the horse, I can promise you they're gonna say it does all of this. Leads, ties, bays, stands for the farrier, and loads. We all horse folks know that that's what you're going to hear. And how often is that true? Not very often. So it's kind of a running joke about buying a horse. So this horse, Amy knows, she hasn't worked with him lately, but if you brought a new horse home and they said it did a lot of things, the first thing you want to do is start feeling it out to see what you got. So what we did today is a great example of that. So whether this is a horse you haven't worked in a long time or a new horse, it's a great example. Now, I encourage you to do this before you start trying to tie him up and groom them and bathe them. And I had the fly spray here because during our little break a minute ago, I was trying to get the flies away from him, and he was nervous about that. So I just tried to get him to stand, and it only took a couple minutes. But I had to be confident. I had to give him a little jerk and say, ho, and get some fly spray on him. So I'm really pleased because just a few minutes ago, he was dancing around quite a bit, and now he's standing here quite nicely. So I'm pleased with that. So you just want to take it slow. Go back to the basics. Once you have the horse felt out a little bit and he's moving around for you, go back to the basics. Leading, tying, tacking, grooming, all that kind of stuff. And don't forget to load your horses regularly because you don't want the day you're going to leave town to be the first time you load them in a long time. So hopefully that'll help. Now we're going to move on to some of the trick horse training. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Heidi Herriott, and I'd like to introduce you to Fresh Fix. It's the best thing I've found to keep my stalls smelling fresh. A daily misting of Fresh Fix not only keeps my stalls odor-free, it actually eliminates the dangerous ammonia vapors that can be harmful to our horses' health. Since I know you care about your horses and pets as well, get Fresh Fix. Go online and check out the Heidi special. You're watching Heidi Herriott Presents HorseTrix. Okay, so we're gonna train the no now, show you how to do that. And I've enlisted the help of my little trick horse, Lucky Star. Lucky Star's a miniature horse. He's about 30 inches high, and he does a whole 20-minute act. So he's gonna show us how to do the no. Lucky Star, can you say no, big no for us? That's yes, how about a no? There we go. Well, you saw the yes and the no. All right, now we're gonna train the no with our candidate, Wiley. Okay, so I've got Wiley back here, and he's the one we're going to train the no with and show you what that looks like. Now, as you've seen with Wiley earlier in the episode, he is full of energy and very excited, and it hasn't been worked, as you know, in quite a while. So first thing, I need him to stand still for me. And I want to we're going to have his halter on and the reins. That's kind of our basic training tack for the horse. I've still got his lead rope on because I need to hold on to him. I've also got my little whip and some treats. Now, as far as location, we're in the round pen. You can be in a fairly small area, a paddock or a pen. I encourage you to be somewhere that's fenced. If it's the middle of winter, you actually can be in the barn, but you want to make sure your horse is settled down and doesn't bump you around. Don't ever train in the stall. I don't find that to be a safe place. Now, my location, I want to be back by his shoulder. So I'm going to try to back up by his shoulder a little bit. I'm going to put him back in place, hup. And again, I want to be stern and say, ho, whoa. We don't want to be too soft on that because we're just going to have to keep asking them over. Better to let them know exactly what you want. Remember the principles of training. Consistency, clarity, ho. Right there. Okay, so let me show you this while he's standing still. You're going to hold the reins with your left hand, reach up with your right hand and touch his ear, just like that. Now we're going to do that again. We're looking for a head bob, a head shake, I should say. Good boy. Now he's got the idea, but I want to make sure in between that I'm doing a little petting. Okay, so let's try that again. Come on, let's have a nice head shake. I promise you, if you hold it just long enough, they're going to shake that head. Good boy. What you want to do is get to the point where you just touch up here, and he's like shaking his head for you. Good, ho, get over. Push him away from you, good. If you push the front end over, the back end can't go swing out. So remember that. Okay, let's do it again. Good, that was very nice. Now again, you see I'm praising him a lot. Verbal praise, physical praise, and I'll use an occasional treat. Here we go again. Good. Now he's gonna get a little numb to it, ho. Good, I'm gonna put him back in place. Get over. Good, I'm gonna keep his head that way. Try not to swing his rear end over. Here we go, good. Good. I want one good head shake. One good head shake. Good, ho, good boy. And remember, this horse was just out of the pasture. So if I were at home training, I wouldn't take a horse who's this fresh out of the pasture and try to train a trick. But he was our horse in the episode today. So I'm giving you an idea. But this will help you see what you're going to encounter at home. So let's try one more time. Left hand here, right hand up here. Good. If that's all we get is that little nod, he's got the idea. You want to get to the point where you put your hand here and you get a nice no. Good. Ho, back. Good, ho, whoa. Little jerk, you gotta make sure he stands still. And then I wanna let go. I don't wanna just keep pulling down on him. This is great, right here. Now I'm nice and light again. Let's try it again, good. I'm gonna pet his head a little. I don't want him to get where he doesn't want me around his head. So let's try it again. Good, that was a little better. Okay. I hope you're enjoying the show. You can learn a lot more about my horses, myself, and my training program by going to my website, HeidiHerriott.com. On there, you can view past episodes of HorseTrix, download training manuals, find out about my upcoming appearances, book a clinic or show, and lots more. Again, that's HeidiHerriott.com. Today's training tip is not to make excuses for your horses. An example, we had Wiley out here, and I mentioned that he was herd bound. But we didn't want that to be an excuse for him not to perform or not to behave properly. It's just something we needed to take into consideration. The same thing when I do horse shows, a lot of folks come for the weekend, and their horses spend a lot of time not doing what they're supposed to do at the show, but looking around and whinnying and getting excited. And what I encourage folks to do, allow them to look around one time, rein them in, so to speak, and say, okay, it's time to go to work. Get their attention. If they start whinnying or looking away, keep pulling them back towards you. Get their attention. Don't make excuses for your horses. Coming up next week on HorseTrix. Join me as we train a fun trick, the smile. We'll also be joined by an adorable group of miniature horses, including a spirited little stallion with some manner issues. All this and more coming up next week on HorseTrix. I'm glad you could join us today. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your horse training journey. Be sure and join us next time. Remember, happiness is horses.